This is an illustration of what Charles Church probably looked like at the time of the Civil War. Less the trees, these were all taken away then, so this is grown up afterwards. This is the graveyard here. So if you look at that in connection with the church, you will see that the churchyard is to your northeast. To the northeast. There's the churchyard, there's the steeple. That was built after the Civil War.
Let's have a look around, shall we?
Yes.
Here we are in the middle of the city, a quiet area of peace. Most people in Plymouth never see this. They just drive around the outside. But there's some lovely little details here. As there are here also.
And you can see bomb damage. You can actually see some bomb damage over here.
Yeah, bomb damage just about there. And I'm sure in lots of other spots also. Let's walk around, Phil.
It's odd that, like I said to you before, Steve, that this is the only church in England named after a king. Especially a king that people in Plymouth fought against.
There's the inside. Grass grows where once people sat. We can hear the traffic driving around us, yet it is still strangely quiet here. Looking through another window, you can see the inside and how wonderful it must have been when it was constructed. Yeah. Fantastic piece of architecture.
And it's only a few hundred yards from St Andrews.
Very close.
Very close.
About what, 5 minutes walk?
5 minutes. But it's weird to think you can't hear so much of the traffic.
Yes. These would have once had lovely stained glass windows.
Limestone and granite.
Limestone and granite, as Phil said. Beautiful design. Absolutely lovely.
It actually looks bigger than St Andrews.
If we look carefully here on the floor, we can see the remains of an incendiary bomb just by Phil's feet there. Just move it the way, Phil. That pocking and brown marking there is where the splutter from a molten incendiary bomb came down and burnt its way into the paving stone. There's also ones here, and I expect if we look, there's probably, oh, there's others here, look, as well. There's quite a substantial piece here, look. That really gives you an idea of that bit that's been burnt into the stone. It's probably fungi or a lichen.
It must have been horrible to see it. It was on fire.
Oh my gosh, yes. Phil has raised an issue though. There is some of the blackness here, which could be, of course, a lichen. Was it originally caused by soot deposit as the building was on fire? I'm not an expert on such things, but it raises a very valid question as to why it's there and not left or right. It's in just a precise spot, isn't it? With quite a hard edge.
It's not all over the church, is it?
No, it's not.
Just that place where you said the incendiary landed.
Here we again look, evidence of incendiary bombs and a gravestone that I'm afraid all I can read is here lies the body of, and I'm afraid I'm unable to read any more of that. Now on this side of the church the traffic noise is much worse. So we've left our area of quiet and we're walking around. We're now on the south side of the church where the windows are higher and I can't actually go through. Oh, brilliant. Okay. This is the steps into the church. You just have to wonder how many people walk through here. Weddings, christenings, baptisms.
Well, in the Civil War, a major was married here. One of the officers was married in here in 1645. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. But there were services done here, performed here. Actually, an interesting little tidbit about this church. A man preached here in July 1644 called John Sims. Now, I'm going to talk about him later in the story of the Civil War. But he came from Sheepstore area and he was refugeed here because the Royalists in Devon, Plymouth was the only place left. They hounded out anyone who wasn't on their side. So John Sims was a Puritan, so he was hounded out of his parish of Sheepstore, and he had to hide at night, walk through ditches, made his way to Brixham, and came to Plymouth. He wasn't well liked by the military in Plymouth because he was very puritanical. And he had a few clashes with some of the naval officers and army officers in Plymouth. But he actually preached here in 1644. And I've read his diary and it says in there, the only entry is for Charles Church, preached at this church today, July 1644. So some of these characters who were here in the Civil War got an involvement with Charles Church.
We're walking around now. Sometimes the church is lit up in the evenings. You can see the floodlighting here, and it looks pretty good when that happens. We're now immediately under the bell tower and spire that is very impressive and very high. And we're now just heading back to where we started our little walk. That's a valid... Phil has just made a valid observation that there the damage is intense because the whole window has gone. You can just see the edges of it. Another gravestone there. Susan Baker. And more gravestones, I think, here, possibly, yes. But many are very faint indeed. So looking at here, oh, look at that for an example of incendiary splash.
And you see the black again.
And you see the black again. Maybe this is a fact. It could well be the heat would have been very intense just there. You can see the splutter.
So at least 2 trucks, is it? Here.
And here we are looking
West
in.
entrance. The west entrance.
The west entrance. And what a view that would be when the church was as it should be. And as Phil says, look at the blackening here. Can all this be some sort of lichen? Surely there's It does look like it,
Looks like soot.
but maybe the soot provided a foothold for the lichen.
Soot.
It
is
looks
soot.
sooty, doesn't it?
It is soot.
Can you put your hand on it again for me, Phil, please?
What?
Good rub. Go on. Can I see your hands, please?
Yeah, that is soot.
Well, that's something worth looking at, isn't it?
Yeah. This is the bell tower, obviously added after the Civil War, because they're still constructing it during the time of the Civil War. But it's good to see another building that survived the Civil War and history.
And here we are, back where we started.